we thought that Elbaf was the next step after Wano, but we got detoured to Egghead. So then what's going to be the next thing after
Correct.
Egghead? Is it going to be Elbaf or is it going to be,
It
I don't know.
I feel like it has to be Elbaf because if you remember the Order of the Islands, like whenever they left Wano, they pulled straws to like determine
Yeah.
who's going to go to what island.
Yeah.
And Luffy went to the one that was like basically Elbaf is in between where Luffy's at and Lodestar. Like he would have to go past Elbaf because like just the way the sea is shaped, like the little thing they showed, the little diagram. So like Elbaf would almost have to be the next island because
Yeah.
it's just on the path, right? Winter Island, actually, if you look at the way it's diagrammed, I bet you Elbaf doesn't lead you to Winter Island because it's like south of it, basically. So you could just keep going east, west, whatever I can't remember the directions, but basically from Egghead to the Lodestar, you would pass Elbaf. From Elbaf to Lodestar, you wouldn't pass Winter Islands. Like it probably has to be Elbaf. Now, I mean, Oda can do whatever he wants, but like,
Yeah.
there's only so much time left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you
Um,
have a rough idea in terms of how much time you think there's going to be left? Because after Elbaf, it will be getting pretty close to the
yeah,
final stretch.
I I would say I don't like giving a time frame, like how
Yeah.
many years, because years to me is like, well, what if Otis, takes a couple extra breaks? Like then it's not the same. Like the year, like if I say 3 years now, but then he takes like 4 months off across those 3 years, like I need 4 extra months, so it's like a little bit weird. But I think honestly, like Oda's given a lot of like 3 to 5 year timelines and none of them have been accurate. I'm just gonna go with what I see based off the story and just ignore what Oda said because he's wrong all the time about this anyway. And I'm just gonna say uh, I doubt it would possibly get fully wrapped up before chapter like 1250 to 1300. I feel like I just don't just logistically like Oda
Yeah.
took 4 years in Wano and took like what was it, like 150 chapters in Wano. Like if you just took 150 from this point right now, we're almost to the point I just said. Like we're all like if you just had another Wano, we're at like 1230. Like we're almost already at the 1250 I just said, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like 1250 to 1300 is like the earliest I could see him finishing it without rushing all sorts of
Mm.
stuff that like makes it feel weird. That's what I would say.
What was really funny was that I had in my head a number of how many years, and then you just went and said, "Oh yeah, so Wano was for 4 years," and I
Yeah.
was like, my man was like, "Oh, might be like 4 years." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, if Wano was 4 years and he wants to do Elbath and then make like this whole sort of massive war like event we're gonna do, find the One Piece, everything happens afterwards,
Mhm.
that's gonna be at least like Wano length. So that's gonna be at least four. So
I mean, the man took like 20 chapters to show the Odin flashback. like
yeah.
that's 5 months or more than that if you
Oh
count the
my
breaks. Like six
god.
months. Like that. Like whenever you put stuff into time perspective like
Yeah.
that, for me, that's what I'm like. There's no way Oda can finish in 3 to 5 years unless he's skipping stuff. Like that's the thing. He could always just rush it, and then it'll feel weird. I don't think he's gonna
Yeah.
do that. I think he would rather take like a month or two off every year and
Yeah.
just take another 5 years to do it than rush it in three. Like I don't think it's worth it for him. I mean, I don't know him. I'm talking out of my ass about that stuff. I don't, whatever. But about the time length, yeah. Like for me, I look at Elbaf. I'm like, see, like Elbaf Final War, going to Laugh Tale. We know all that stuff's for sure happening. But like, what about like the flashbacks? Like, we need to see a Void Century flashback, a Joy Boy flashback. That's 20 plus chapters across all of them. Like it's not going to be one sitting probably, but I would assume across all the Joy Boy, Void Century, God Valley stuff that we're going to
I'm
get,
waiting for that. I'm
it's
waiting
got
for
to be
that.
20 plus chapters of flashbacks across all those, like minimum. And
Yeah.
that's like 6 months right there. That's not
Yeah.
even advancing the story necessarily. I mean, to a degree, but not moving the
Yeah.
crew anywhere. And then on top of that, like Oda is gonna add stuff that we don't expect,
Yeah.
like Egghead. We did not even
Yeah.
know this island existed till we pulled up. So for me, I'm just like, Oda's gonna get some random ideas and just add a bunch of stuff because that's what he always does, and he's just gonna keep cooking. I feel like 1300 for me is like an expectation that like I could see it ending a little bit earlier, but like that's like a reasonable amount of time just based off like where we have to go, like all the stuff he still has to talk about. And like also one other thing is like there's so much lore pieces that he hasn't talked about. I bring this up like every video, like probably 4 or 5 or 6 videos now. I probably mentioned this honestly, where Uranus has been mentioned once and that's it. We have not literally Robin's like Uranus. That's it.
Yeah.
Like she was listing off the ancient weapons names, and that's it. That is the only time we've ever heard that ancient weapon talked about in the story was just a name once. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, we got to spend time learning about Uranus.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's still here. We haven't even seen Pluton yet. Probably a mole, but we haven't seen it yet. And then it's so for me, I'm just there's so many things that can't be just thrown in there for 2 pages and that's it. It's got to be like, okay, we need a couple chapters probably dedicated around the storyline.
Yeah.
And there's so many of those, and then we still got Elbaf, all the stuff we just talked about. So yeah, it's got to be a while.
Yeah, and I think the big thing I'm thinking about too is it's one thing for Oda himself to really draw out these stories, but then the other thing too is like Shonen Jump. It's like, look, we have got a golden goose here. We have got a series, the #1 manga in the world. It has been on top of its game non-stop. There has not been some sort of dip or decline. It's like been constant. And it's like, and he's like, just keep doing what you're doing. It's already been that successful. If you want to do this for another like 6-7 years and you're like okay with it, we're gonna go, yep, no problem, because you've always been on top and you're gonna bring in such good support for Shonen Jump. Let's just keep going, keep it going. You know, so it's I think it's a nice collaborative effort between the both. Say, do we want to say a story you want to say? You've done 25 years of this already. That's been on top. So
yep.
If you want to go for another, you know, if you want to elaborate further, keep going. But yeah, Oda himself is definitely going to be the one to decide. But I feel that with his track record and pacing, yeah, it is definitely up there to be a lot longer than what I thought. Which is great news for us because I've been loving this. I've been loving hopping on here and doing streams and chatting about this all the week, every week. So more of that for like 5+ years. Awesome. Sounds great. I'm gonna have a great time.
Yeah. Yes. Like, yeah. In that aspect, like selfishly, like I mean, well, everyone wants to enjoy the story longer, so it's not really selfish. But yeah, like I'm cool making One Piece content as long as Oda wants to make it an option. Like I'm not gonna stop. Like I'm like now once we get to Laugh Tale and stuff, like am I like who knows what the next stage is after that? You know, like once One Piece is over, like I don't like obviously like if new cool stuff comes out, I'll do content, but like it's not gonna be the same, I would say. It's gonna be a little bit different once we know the ending. So you know, if Oda wants to keep extending it, like I'm, you know, it won't hear a peep out of me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do like what you said though about just like, you know, money talks. It always does, unfortunately, and always will. So, like you said, like One Piece has been so successful for Shueisha, Toei, everyone. That like if Oda wants, well, Toei will find a way to milk the anime, the manga content as long as they want. So I'm not worried about them. They're good. But like Shueisha and stuff, yeah, like if they want to keep making money, like I'm sure they're Oda knows that. Like, hey, yeah, like you know, it's like it's all about Oda picking like that fine line between like, okay, like when do I want to like retire and go enjoy my life and not have to draw constantly, or like how much do I want to keep making the story perfect? I think he's walking that line every week, honestly. Like again, I don't know him. I don't have an interview. I'm just a man who also works. So I understand. You know, everyone wants to go sit at home. Well, let me not sit at home, go travel or do fun stuff. You know, I'm sure he wants to. So, but again, you know, a lot of his life at this point is One Piece. Like he knows he's I mean, he's for one thing, his story is creating a whole wave of new storytellers and stuff, which he knows is incredibly important. So he's got to end it right in that regard because he's like been a inspiration for so many. I'm sure he doesn't want to botch that, you know, by rushing or setting a bad example in that regard. But also, this is like his baby, right? Like the One Piece, like even beyond the money aspect, which does matter. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think for him, he knows like this is a life-changing thing for a lot of people. People have dedicated their lives to this. I need to end it right. I got to do it.
True.
So I think when he's like saying 3 to 4 years, I think he's saying like in his mind he wants to do that.
Yeah.
But he's just gonna go until it's done. Like he's gonna make sure it is done right. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that is such a huge thing that you touched upon was, you know, this is part of people's lives. Like 25 years. Like if someone read this from the very start and you've dedicated 25 years to this story, to this journey, and seeing where this goes and investing yourself to read this week on week. And it's also like, you know, we're a big part of that too. We're investing a lot of our time to producing content surrounding this, speculating on this, and all that sort of stuff, that there is a lot of expectation, writing, and hope that it will deliver with like an ending that is satisfactory to everybody. So, and especially because it's been 25 years, there's been no
Yes.
indication of a rush. Like there's been no reason to rush. So if he's this far down the line and he doesn't want to rush that much like that, spending 4 years on a single arc plus more,
Yes.
then yeah, like keep it going. Don't all of a sudden change to rush things because it's already working great. It would most definitely
Agreed.
have to be on Oda though, like where his head's at, where
Exactly.
his physical being's at. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
because
I'm stoked. I'm stoked for more years of One Piece.
same.
Honestly, it'd be great.
Oh, I'll take it. I mean,
Uh
I
huh.
want to say like I'll watch it for the rest of my life, but the other thing I think about is like Oda probably also knows there's a lot of diehard fans that have passed away. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't get to
Oh,
see the ending, and so it's kind of like we're talking like people have watched their whole lives, like they deserve a good ending. But I'm sure Oda's also keeping in mind, okay, well, like there's some people that aren't going to get to see it because I'm taking so long. You know, I'm sure. So it's literally a fine line. But I think at the end of the day, what Oda's going to do is just I'm going to do what's right for the story.